The fact that I was able to have such success in the corporate world, in the role that I was in, I was put into a role in my professional career working on mega deals, large technology deals, and ended up just getting really familiar with the financials of those deals and ended up directing financial strategies for those deals. And it turns out I had a knack for a financial strategy and, price targeting and figuring out how to blend sort of data and analytics with the execution of that in a contract-driven kind of proposal world that I lived in for a while, selling really large contracts to the U.S. federal government. And so I feel really fortunate to have landed in that situation, to have had the leadership and the support and the opportunity that I had, and then obviously, applying myself to learn how to, for example, write code so that I could maximize my ability to work with the different tools and technology that we were using. The fact that I knew how to program JAWS was really big for me. JAWS is Job Access with Speech, which is the screen reader on Windows, and that's what I use to interact with a computer. So I literally can't see my screen, but I'm writing code to interact with it, and that sounds like a real disadvantage, not being able to see your screen until you get to the point to where a lot of the things that I was doing on a day-to-day basis, I had to interact with different programs, be it Excel or be it PDF documents, and I figured out how, given my technology understanding, to automate a lot of the work that we were doing in Excel and a lot of the research and analysis that I had to do in some of these PDF documents that were thousands of pages. So my colleagues who could see were scanning those PDF documents with their eyes, and I wrote a search algorithm that went through the PDF document and looked for the advanced search that I wanted it to look for, and then created a report for me while I went down the hall to get a cup of coffee. So it's like, how do you take advantage of your disadvantages? I've been very fortunate, I think, to find opportunities to do that. And you hear kind of what you had said. I mean, it is a little bit, I don't know, unusual or uncomfortable. And just a minor correction. I don't know that I was the first blind person to graduate from Harvard Business School. I don't know for sure, but I do know that I was the first blind executive to graduate from the Program for Leadership Development at Harvard Business School, which was the program that I went to. And so that feels, obviously it was a great opportunity there to learn and study. And then obviously you hear about Harvard Business School. I had heard about Harvard Business School. I grew up in a sort of middle-class family. Going to Harvard wasn't ever on our radar. It just wasn't possible. We could not have afforded it. And so you dream about it, you think about it. And then, after I brought in these contracts for my company, the $45 billion in contracts, they asked me what they could do for me. And so I asked them to send me to Harvard, and they said, okay. So they actually wrote the check that allowed me to go do that. So I'm really, really grateful for that. But I didn't come from, like a lot of people, they may think that, if you go to Harvard, you kind of come from money, and that's not how I ended up going to Harvard. Would have been a lot easier had that been an option, but it just wasn't an option for me. So, but fortunately, my corporate success allowed me to get the opportunity to do it, and they picked up the tab for it.
Yeah, that's great. I think a lot of people will find that interesting because listeners probably assume that Harvard was step one, and then all these huge wins and mega deals that, as you described, happened post graduating. But you're saying that you had all that success in the corporate world and then went
Correct.
to Harvard.
Yeah.